a day in the life of our Paleolithic ancestors, unveiling the rich tapestry of human survival and ingenuity. Imagine the first rays of dawn piercing through the mist over a rugged landscape, illuminating the jagged mouth of a limestone cave. From this shadowed sanctuary, a small group of early humans steps into the emerging light. Their day has already begun, not with alarms or schedules, but with an instinctual rhythm guided by the sun, the seasons, and the raw demands of survival. Some scan the horizon, eyes sharp for any sign of game. Others gather twigs and dry leaves to kindle the fire that burns quietly through the night, a flickering beacon of warmth, light, and safety. But what exactly filled the hours of these Paleolithic people? The image that often comes to mind, a brutish caveman dragging a woman by her hair, or wildly clubbing a mammoth, barely scratches the surface of the intricate, dynamic lives they led. To truly understand how they spent their waking hours, we must journey deep into a world that spanned nearly 3 million years. A world before cities, agriculture, or written language. A world that nonetheless laid the foundations of everything we know as human civilization. The Paleolithic period, stretching from roughly 2.6 million years ago to about 12,000 years ago, represents over 99% of human history. It's a time of profound transformation, marked by remarkable innovations in technology, social organization, and symbolic thought. But it wasn't a static era. It was a mosaic of diverse cultures and adaptations, shaped by shifting climates, environments, and evolving human capacities. Our window into this ancient world comes from a constellation of evidence. Archaeological sites have yielded stone tools, hearths, food remnants, and on rare occasions delicate items like textiles and wooden implements. Cave paintings and portable artifacts reveal glimpses of their symbolic and artistic expression. Ethnographic studies of modern hunter-gatherer societies provide additional, though cautious, analogies for understanding daily life across vast time spans. It is essential to recognize the enormous variability within the Paleolithic experience. Early Homo habilis in Africa lived vastly different lives compared to the Cro-Magnon artists painting the caves of Europe tens of thousands of years later. The climate, arguably the most influential factor, dictated the rhythms and challenges of daily existence. During ice ages, when glaciers blanketed much of northern Europe and Asia, survival required ingenious strategies vastly different from those employed in warmer or coastal regions. Despite this diversity, all Paleolithic peoples shared a fundamental lifestyle, that of hunter-gatherers, relying on a combination of hunting animals and gathering wild plants to sustain themselves. So, let us step back in time and explore what truly occupied the hours, days, and seasons of our ancient ancestors. Their day began not with the beep of a phone, but with the rising sun. Unlike our artificial illumination and regimented schedules, Paleolithic humans lived in tune with the natural cycles of light and dark, responding fluidly to seasonal variations. The morning's first task was often rekindling the embers from the previous night's fire. Archaeological evidence, such as from the Terra Amata site in France, dated to 380,000 years ago, shows carefully maintained hearths that were essential for warmth, protection from predators, cooking, and social gathering. Starting a fire from scratch was difficult, so embers or slow-burning materials were kept alive overnight. With fire rekindled, daylight hours were devoted to critical tasks. Groups assessed their immediate needs. Was food running low? Did their tools require repair? Were there signs of prey nearby? Water collection was routine. Fresh streams or springs provided vital hydration, with containers fashioned from animal bladders, woven baskets, or eventually pottery. Rather than adhering to rigid schedules, Paleolithic life was governed by a pattern of immediate return activities and long-term planning. Evidence from sites like Gesher Benu, Yaakov in Israel, dating back nearly 800,000 years, reveals an impressive understanding of seasonal plant cycles, hinting at sophisticated foresight and environmental knowledge. Food acquisition dominated daily life but varied by season and region. Typically, adult males focused on hunting larger animals, while females gathered plant foods and hunted smaller game. Although archaeological findings suggest these roles were flexible, midday heat often prompted a break for food preparation, tool maintenance, or rest. As afternoon waned, successful hunters returned with prey, and gatherers brought in fruits, nuts, or roots. Evenings were moments of communal intimacy. Around the fire, stories were told, plans for the next day discussed, and social bonds strengthened. Hunting large animals required skill, courage, and teamwork. Early humans likely started as opportunistic scavengers, but by 500,000 years ago, evidence such as spear-inflicted wounds on horse bones from Boxgrove, England, demonstrates deliberate, coordinated hunts. Tools evolved impressively over time. Early Paleolithic hunters wielded simple hand axes and wooden spears. By 400,000 years ago, the Schöningen spears of Germany, perfectly balanced and expertly crafted, revealed advanced weaponry. Around 30,000 years ago, spear throwers emerged, amplifying force and range. And by 20,000 years ago, bows and arrows appeared in some regions, yet hunting was unpredictable, making plant gathering a more reliable food source. Paleolithic diets included an astonishing variety of tubers, fruits, nuts, seeds, and leafy greens. Dental plaque analyses reveal consumption of dozens of plant species, some with medicinal properties. This botanical knowledge, accumulated over generations, was crucial for survival and passed down through oral traditions. Fishing, too, played a role. At Coaster, Illinois, around 9,000 years ago, archaeological finds include nets and bone hooks, signaling sophisticated fishing methods. Seasonal cycles dictated food gathering rhythms. Spring brought eggs and tender greens. Summer offered berries and juvenile animals. Autumn demanded nuts and winter preparation. Limited but vital food storage methods, drying meat into jerky underground pits, natural freezing, helped communities endure harsh winters. Nutrition in the Paleolithic was diverse and robust. Analyses of bones indicate fewer dietary deficiencies compared to early agricultural societies. A groundbreaking innovation was cooking, controlling fire to prepare food, dating at least 400,000 years back, possibly earlier. Cooking unlocked calories, neutralized toxins, and made food more digestible, profoundly impacting human physiology and social life. Tool-making was a constant, demanding craft. Stone tools dulled quickly and needed frequent sharpening or replacement. Skilled knappers could fashion cutting edges within minutes, yet more complex tools required hours of meticulous work. The evolutionary trajectory of tools, from the crude Oldowan flakes to Ayulian bifaces, then to Levallois flaking techniques, and finally to the explosion of specialized Upper Paleolithic implements, demonstrates ever-growing sophistication and adaptability. Beyond stone, materials like wood, bone, antler, and ivory gained prominence. Although wood rarely survives archaeologically, exceptional finds such as the Clacton-on-Sea wooden spear tip illustrate careful shaping attuned to material properties. Bone and antler were carved into needles, fishhooks, harpoons, and decorative objects. Antler was prized for its balance of strength and flexibility. Food processing tools like grinding stones and pounding implements reveal complex culinary practices. Experiments confirm stone tools effectively butchered even large mammals, such as elephants, though the process was laborious. Containers made from gourds, shells, or animal bladders were crucial for transport and storage. By the Upper Paleolithic, woven baskets and sewn hide bags appeared, alongside the earliest pottery around 20,000 years ago in East Asia. Clothing technology advanced in response to climatic challenges. Cold periods necessitated hide preparation, with stone scrapers removing fat and sinew, and bone needles facilitating sewing. But where did Paleolithic humans call home? Contrary to stereotypes, caves were only one of many shelter types. Rock overhangs, natural formations, and constructed dwellings also provided refuge. Caves such as Lascaux and Altamira are famous for their art and evidence of extended occupation, yet suitable caves were rare and often used seasonally. Archaeological sites like Terra Amata in France reveal traces of oval huts supported by wooden posts, while Mezherik in Ukraine shows circular structures made from mammoth bones covered with hides. Interior spaces were carefully organized, hearths as central hubs, sleeping areas, tool-making zones, and food preparation spots arranged in functional proximity. Maintenance was ongoing. Fire required constant tending, shelters needed repair from weather damage, and living areas were kept clean. Some sites designate specific refuse zones, illustrating early waste management. Children grew up integrated into community life, observing and learning adult skills early on, unlike the age-segregated societies of today. Although direct evidence of hygiene is sparse, ethnographic parallels suggest practices such as dental cleaning with plant fibers and bathing in natural water bodies. Communities cared for the sick and injured, as revealed by healed injuries in skeletal remains, indicating social support beyond mere survival. Social life was rich and complex. Bands of 20 to 30 related individuals formed the core social units, interconnected through trade and exchange over vast distances. Precious materials found hundreds of miles from their origins reveal expansive networks. Sharing food reinforced social cohesion and reciprocal obligations. Communal feasting, evidenced by large hearths like those at Dolny Vistonets, functioned as social glue. Art was central to their identity and spirituality. Ochre processing at Blombos Cave in South Africa, nearly 100,000 years old, marks early symbolic activity. The Upper Paleolithic boasts breathtaking cave paintings, portable figurines, and musical instruments. Though music leaves no direct trace, bone flutes from Germany dating 43,000 years ago, alongside percussive instruments, suggest elaborate soundscapes. Healing and shamanic practices may be reflected in cave art, depicting human-animal hybrids, hinting at altered states of consciousness. While conflict existed, violent injuries are less frequent than in later periods, possibly due to relative resource abundance and population dynamics. This Paleolithic lifestyle, our species' longest and most successful adaptation, enabled humanity to endure climate upheavals and spread across continents. What lessons can we glean? First, Paleolithic people were expert environmental managers. Rather than passively enduring nature's whims, they shaped ecosystems through selective hunting, plant stewardship, and controlled burns, evidenced by Aboriginal fire management in Australia dating back 65,000 years. Second, their survival depended on encyclopedic knowledge. Each person needed to understand hundreds of plants and animals, weather, geology, tool making, and social intricacies, a stark contrast to modern specialization. Third, their technology, though seemingly simple, was the product of generations of refinement, elegant solutions to complex problems. Most importantly, the Paleolithic marks the dawn of symbolic thought, abstract reasoning, and cultural depth that define us as human. It is not a mere prelude to civilization, but a sophisticated and sustainable way of life that nurtured population-resource balance and rich traditions for tens of thousands of generations. So, what did cavemen really do all day? They walked a delicate dance between urgent survival and thoughtful planning. They crafted and cared for indispensable tools. They hunted, gathered, cooked, and shared nourishment. They built and maintained homes. They passed on knowledge, practical, cultural, spiritual, to their children. They created art and music, weaving meaning into the fabric of daily life. They fostered social bonds and innovated to meet environmental challenges. When we look at the archaeological record with fresh eyes, we do not see brutish primitives, but resourceful innovators, ancestors whose creativity, resilience, and cooperation laid the bedrock for all human achievement. The next time you picture a caveman, envision instead a skilled technologist, an astute botanist, a visionary artist, and a devoted community member, rolled into one remarkably adaptable and profoundly human individual.